Bastardize. To change something in such a way as to lower its quality or value, typically by adding new elements. To reduce from a higher to a lower state or condition. To change something in a way that makes it fail to represent the values and qualities that it is intended to represent. As viewers of this channel who've been following my coverage and commentary on Amazon's Rings of Power already know, this is a series I started out very much looking forward to. That all changed when the marketing engine for Rings of Power began ramping up, and it was revealed by the showrunners that Amazon did not have the necessary rights to adapt Tolkien's Second Age. Prior to seeing the show, all of the criticisms I've submitted in previous videos had to do with deviations from Tolkien's lore. I've taken issue with the showrunners' decision to compress thousands of years of history to one point in time, and the changing of established canon characters and their journeys, along with contradiction to the lore contained in the very source material that they do have the rights to. In light of this information, it was clear that what Tolkien wrote was of less importance to the showrunners, J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, as it seemed they were basically going to do what they wanted either way. And it appears that both the current Tolkien estate and Amazon were happy to let them deviate in these ways. Leading up to the premiere, a number of what I feel are unnecessary changes were revealed, yet a few individuals felt that my opinions and feelings could not be valid until I had actually seen the show. After now having seen the premiere, I can honestly say that my biggest issues with this series, namely the deviations in lore, have now been proven entirely valid. Now, before I begin, I feel I need to provide a disclaimer here that this video contains my own opinions based on my own personal knowledge and love of Tolkien's work. At the end of the day, whether you agree or disagree with my opinions, Tolkien's writings will always stand as the best and the truest way to experience the wonder of his legendarium. With that being said, this video is intended to be the first in a series in which I will discuss some of the most significant lore changes made by Amazon that stand out to me and what I feel is a pattern of bastardizing or failing to represent the greatness of Tolkien's work. Amazon's Rings of Power series begins with a depiction of Galadriel as a child in Valinor being bullied by other elf children. Thereafter, she is comforted by her brother, Finrod. While the first obvious issue I had was his modern hairstyle, dialogue aside, I have to say that the actor and his brief performance were enjoyable. However, this was quickly overshadowed by the adulteration of his character arc. His story, as written, was sacrificed, changed to have his death merely serve as a plot device for an unoriginal and one-dimensional revenge arc for the main character, Galadriel. In fact, I feel it's safe to say that the entire basis for Galadriel's arc is founded on massive deviations from Tolkien's writings. Galadriel is shown mourning over her brother's body. This scene was revealed in trailers, but it was unclear which of Galadriel's brothers it was. Many had theorized it was Finrod because of what looked to be claw marks on his arm. Knowing that Amazon did not have the rights to the Silmarillion, which details the events leading up to his death, I thought it was possible that this could actually not be him, but instead perhaps an original character. Seeing that the showrunners had invented a sister for Isildur, I didn't think it was out of the realm of possibility. At this point, I wish they had just inserted a non-canonical brother because of the complete deviation that they have now taken from Finrod's story and the manner of his death. The epic story of Beren and Luthien is one of Tolkien's greatest tales. The author himself regards this story as the heart of the legendarium, and it is one that holds great personal significance to Tolkien, as the names Beren and Luthien are marked on his and his wife Edith's gravestones. To have the show so blatantly disregard vital portions of Finrod's story at the altar of Galadriel's fabricated revenge arc was a massive disservice to the author and the characters he created. Finrod was in fact not under an oath to hunt Sauron as the show claims. According to Tolkien, he was a noble elf and a friend of men, whose help was enlisted by Beren in his quest to retrieve a Silmaril. Beren's father, Barahir, had once saved Finrod's life in battle, and Finrod gifted him his ring, pledging to Barahir that he would come to his aid or that of his kin whenever in need. Beren inherited that ring, and Finrod vowed to fulfill his oath and help Beren in his quest. Their troop ended up being captured by Sauron. In an attempt to gain information as to their mission, he sent werewolves to devour their company one by one until they revealed the truth, intending to save Finrod for last. When the wolf came for Beren, however, Finrod interceded, slaying the beast but succumbing to his injuries, giving his life for Beren and fulfilling his oath. Upon his death, he said to Beren, "I go now to my long rest in the timeless halls beyond the seas and the mountains of Aman. It will be long ere I am seen among the Noldor again, and it may be that we shall not meet a second time in death or life, for the fates of our kindreds are apart. Farewell." Beren mourned him in despair, and after reuniting with Luthien, who had come to rescue Beren from Sauron's clutches, they buried Finrod's body upon the hilltop of his own isle. And yet, death was not his end. Finrod was allowed to re-embody in Valinor, and it was said that he walked with Finarfin, his father, beneath the trees in Eldamar. In the Rings of Power, Finrod's oath has now completely changed to service the version of Galadriel the showrunners wanted. One who is lost without her sword, and whose only reason for existing was to continue her brother's hunt for Sauron. Though the canon maintains that Finrod was in Valinor, in the show's interpretation, the Undying Lands of Galadriel's people is the very last place she wants to go because she continues to mourn her brother and feels obligated to continue his fabricated mission. It's apparent that this deviation from lore has nothing to do with Amazon's limited rights. Instead, it is just one in a long line of creative liberties taken in the showrunner's reimagining of Tolkien's writings. They don't have the necessary rights to adapt the entirety of the author's Second Age stories, but with the comparably limited information in the appendices they're working from, they feel free to fill in those blanks however they see fit. I don't mind incorporating original characters, as this is a requirement to flesh out any one story of the Second Age. I feel my sentiments toward this show run in parallel to those of Tolkien scholar Tom Shippey, who early on in the production stage understood that the Tolkien estate would insist that Amazon not alter the main shape of the Second Age, that the course of history as written by Tolkien needed to remain the same, that Amazon could add new characters and ask and invent answers to certain questions that Tolkien did not describe. My issues with this series, at their core, are ones that can never be fixed. They immediately set the stage of this show with such a fundamental alteration and dismissal of the lore of Finrod in order to facilitate Galadriel's manufactured revenge arc. On top of this, they continued to make fundamental changes to the major canon characters of the Second Age, including Gil-galad, Elrond, and even the seemingly pointless lore-breaking choice to present two concurrent Durins. From the flurry of deviations they've taken so far, it's clear that this will be Amazon's approach to storytelling in their version of Middle-earth for some time to come. Simply put, I feel that Amazon's Rings of Power is not a Tolkien story, and with the fundamental lore changes they've made, it never could be. Which honestly is just so disappointing, because there are some truly epic stories to be found in Tolkien's Second Age writings. Aside and apart from these, there are so many opportunities to tell original stories without altering the major canonical events of Middle-earth. Sadly, Amazon's greedy approach to forging the Rings of Power series has robbed Tolkien fans of the prospect to see any faithful representations of some of Tolkien's most captivating tales. But I'm curious to know what you think of the canon changes in the Rings of Power. Are they in the same vein as the changes made in Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, or are they more egregious? Do you feel that these deviations diminish the stories found in Tolkien's Legendarium, or do you think they enrich them? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more Middle-earth and other sci-fi and fantasy news and lore. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.